And we're joined by tonight's second place finisher, Kyle Busch, driver of the number 8, and driver of the number 12, Ryan Blaney. We'll open it up for questions in just a moment. Kyle, and we're also joined by driver of the number 22, Joey Logano. We'll open it up first for questions. We'll start with Jeff.
Should invite the top 16.
It's a long walk from the garage.
Yep.
Kyle, you've podiumed in all 3 of these. Why? I don't understand. What are you, like, master of quarter-mile tracks or something?
Yeah. I wish I was better, to tell you the truth. Second, third, second kind of hurts. But, just I don't know what it really is. It's just tight nature, tight bull ring kind of stuff. And the things we all grow up doing, with Legends cars, late models, all that. And, always kind of enjoy getting back to those every once in a while whenever I can. Last year, I remember I went up to New Hampshire and ran a late model race at a tight, big quarter, small 3/8 mile racetrack and finished second there too. So second stuff sucks.
Cool. We'll come up front to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM. Ryan, could you have ever imagined A, having to take a provisional, and B, coming all the way from last to where you finished on the podium?
Well, yeah, I mean, the plan was not to take a provisional. It's just our group was pretty slow. I guess we just couldn't go. And, so we're lucky we got in the race. And then, we did a good job all night, just kind of staying clean. And our car was fast, too, to kind of just drive up through the field. And a couple restarts went our ways to where kind of our lanes went, and just had a shot. I got a terrible restart in the last one, but probably wouldn't have won anyway. But coming from a long way back, so it's fun. I think every time I've been here, I've been spun backwards about 2 or 3 times, so it's nice not to have that at the last one. So it's good.
We'll come up front, and then we'll go back to Jeff.
This is going to be for all 3 of you, since in the last 3 years you have raced the Clash at the Coliseum. So I just wanted to know if you had anything in particular that you like about racing here.
I mean, I think it's interesting. It certainly lends ourselves to a different demographic, as well as a different venue as well, and being in a stadium like this. So it kind of opens up the box a little bit on where else we can do events like this. So I think that's been a real test of whether or not we're capable at these types of tracks. So it always kind of turns into a little bit of calamity there. Did a little bit there towards the end. You always kind of expect that, but fortunately for us, we were on the okay end of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with Kyle. Right, it's a different demographic, and the way they kind of pulled the trigger on today, trying to get it in, and I think that was really smart by NASCAR, and maybe it doesn't show in the stands, right, just because of what it was, but I think it gets a lot of support, and then also have the NASCAR Mexico Series here too, I think is good as well to kind of grow their side. So yeah, just a neat area to do it in. Yeah.
I'll just ditto a lot of it. I think it's very entertaining. Sometimes it's real frustrating when you're out there because it's a tight bull ring, and you got big cars and they're sliding around, and especially on refires with old tires, you're sliding a lot. But I know from rewatching races and sitting in the grandstands for one of the LCQs last year, a couple years ago, it was like, this is really entertaining to watch. Becomes pretty crazy at the end, obviously, but you kind of see that. I think we were actually a little better than we were last year.
We'll go to Jeff, then Daniel, then we'll go up to the press box.
Yeah, for Kyle and Ryan, I guess since you were sort of closest to Denny there on the final restart, what was going through your head there? I mean, were you thinking about just knocking the crap out of him or anything like that, or why?
It's Denny, yes.
Yeah. So take me through that, I guess.
I got a decent restart on the final one, and then I got a pretty good 1 and 2. He kept having issues of left front lockup and sliding off the bottom pretty bad, so I knew that was going to open up the door for an opportunity, and I got to his side off the middle of 2, but I never had any acceleration off the corners. I could not get my forward momentum started, and so that was kind of my hindrance. And so as bad as he was on entry, I was as bad on exit, But if we could have had, 3-4 more laps or whatever, I felt like I would have had enough to be able to get close enough to make a move. But, you're also Blaney was really fast. He might have been better than I was, so I was probably going to have to play defense on him. So it was just going to have to see how it goes. But glad it ended when it did.
We'll go to Daniel.
Daniel McFadden, FrontStretch.com. I got two questions. First, Ryan, apparently you thought that Denny jumped the final restart?
Yeah, I mean, by a few feet. I mean, and obviously he kicked my ass on the last restart, so I'm going to say he jumped. But I thought it was a few feet early. But, yeah, it didn't make a difference.
Okay. All right. And this second question, kind of going off of hers, if this was the last Clash at the Coliseum, how would you guys sum up this 3-year experiment in South California?
I mean, I'd say it was a success.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I think all 3 years has been received really well. And, yeah, okay, the racing side can get a lot of chaos at points, but I think everyone enjoys it. Like, the fans enjoy it, and it gets good coverage. I think it's been a success. I don't see any negative sides to it, really.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was net positive. I said that the first year we came out here that the old car would not have allowed for this type of track, but this car lends itself to having the opportunity to bump a little bit and not crush fenders and noses and tails and things like that. So, you know, overall, what happens from here, where do we go? Who knows? But, you know, if we can find other venues that'll put us in, it'd be pretty cool to do.
Yeah, I mean, the experiment was a great success, and we proved that we can do it anywhere. I said the first year we came here, I mean, it was a huge win for the sport. And, you know, now that, you know, we've raced in one of the most historic stadiums in the world, it's pretty cool. So, you know, I think you can pick this up and place it somewhere else if you needed to, or something completely different. We've done crazier things at this point, right? It's dirt races, there's little small tracks like this, street races, you name it. We can do it.
We'll go up to the press box. Any questions? Okay, we'll go in the back.
Rob Edelstein, TV Guide Magazine. Figuring that you've all seen the Netflix show. Just want to know, since these things are always so creatively edited, this is for like all three of you, how do you think you each came across, and are you happy with it?
I came across amazing. I think I was the star of the show. So, how about you guys?
I loved watching you in it.
Right?
I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought it was, I thought it was, pretty good, and showed people a different perspective or gave people a different perspective of the at-home life, and then the pressures of the final 10 weeks of the year, and the ups and downs and the positives and negatives. The playoffs are pretty brutal, right? And I think it put a lot of emotion on where these teams and drivers are at, and whether you're a diehard fan or a brand new fan, I think it gives you something kind of neat to learn. So yeah, it was great. And obviously I could say I liked the ending because the ending was great, but I thought they did a good job with it. And Netflix, I thought they did, and hopefully it keeps going.
I wish they did it 1 year sooner. It was, of course he likes it. He won the championship, and it's cool. I had a hard time after the second episode watching myself get knocked out of the playoffs again, and at that point I couldn't watch anymore. I couldn't handle it doing it again, but I will say it's a huge win for the sport for sure. When you see it there in the whatever top 5 or so on the Netflix shows, and how many households that reaches, can only be good. It seems like the response has been pretty positive. So really good, really good. Wish it was 1 year before.
We'll go back to Jeff.
Watching it from up high, it felt like, I feel like it felt like the veteran guys like you guys were trying to walk the line of being aggressive and using the bumper, but not so that you're going to use up any favors that you need later in the year, like for an exhibition race. But I felt like maybe some of the younger guys were a little more aggressive and may have gotten some little rivalries going. Is that in your mind as you're making those moves? Are you trying to walk that line? Do you care? Is it expected that you're going to get moved and have to bump people out of the way?
I mean, you try. The racing is usually an eye for an eye more times than not, or trying to come out with some explanation of what happened, and mistakes are mistakes. And I mean, here obviously lends for a lot of things, and I've been on both ends of it. I got Kyle last year, so it's
I still owe him.
yeah, he does. But that's I mean, it's part of racing here, and you try not to, right? Because there's bigger races down the line, but sometimes you're in a bad spot and you just make a mistake. That can happen too, or it's just flat out aggressive and doing that type stuff. And I don't know.
Sam said you guys are flying home tonight, so kind of too rough with each other.
Been an awkward flight home, huh?
Could have.
We'll play cards and laugh
Just
all the way
didn't
home. It'll be
materialize.
good.
Joey will laugh the whole way home.
You what?
Nothing.
Shit, I didn't hear.
No, I mean,
guys have played back.
There was a couple moments there, like I was running with Truex, and he was behind I think he was behind you, and he was holding up the line, and then he kind of got a little bit of separation, and then Truex kind of was holding me up a little bit, and I got a couple good runs off of the corner to make up and then bombed him, and tried to do it early enough on the straightaway that then he was like, okay, it's happening, and just concede the position. But so it depends on who you're running with. I mean, a lot of those guys they probably haven't learned any respect over the years in the series that they race, and it's kind of found its way to our series, unfortunately, on times.
Okay, we'll take one final question in the back.
Brian Twining, Bettsburts Media Group. Just kind of knowing how aggressively people drive here, do you try to prepare for this race by intrinsically telling yourself not
That's
to
a
get
big
upset?
word. I don't think we know what that word means.
Do you try to convince yourselves not to get too upset
Thank you.
when people
Yeah.
bump and bang you?
Dumb that down.
None of us went to college, man.
I would say, yes, you kind of come in here with the right mindset. I mean, you do your homework and you do your study and stuff like that. If you watch the races from the years before, you see that it's a little bit like that. So you just have to be mindful that it's going to happen and, not lose your cool and not have your helmet fly off. And just, keep working and repay the favor if needed.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Joey. We'll see you in Daytona.
Thanks.
See you.